Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So thank you for everyone for showing up on time. So hello and welcome to the University Honors Student Workshop. This presentation is going to review the University Honors course requirements to prepare you for your upcoming advising and registration session, where you are going to enroll in your courses for fall quarter 2025. Okay, so first, some virtual meeting instructions. We are recording this presentation and we'll provide it to all the students here today and those who were not able to attend, so everyone can refer back to the information. Anything you say or write in the chat will become part of the recording. To ensure that everyone can hear the presentation, please mute your microphones during the presentation, but if you're able to, please turn on your camera so that we can see your faces. Please save your questions to the end of the presentation, at which point they'll be addressed and answered. During that portion, you can use the raise your hand feature to ask a question live or put your question in the chat at that time. You'll notice that the chat is disabled right now, but we will open it up during the question portion at the end. As a reminder, questions related to breadth or major requirements, UCR or college academic policies and procedures need to be directed to your academic advisors. Honors can only answer questions related to honors courses and requirements. So these are all the members of the University Honors team. Our Administrative Director, Erin Bouchong, and our Office Coordinator, Christine Parada, couldn't be here today, but they look forward to meeting with all of you. I'll introduce myself and then call on each member of the team that is present today to introduce themselves. My name is Jane Kim. I'm the Assistant Director, and I supervise all the counselors and have a student caseload myself. I counsel students with the last names F through Lim. A fun fact about me is that fall is my favorite season and Halloween is my favorite holiday. And for me, Halloween starts in July, so I celebrate Summerween. And Halloween ends like right before Thanksgiving for me. Okay, I will call on Dr. Begonia Echeverria.
Hello, I'm Begonia Echeverria. I'm the Faculty Director of University Honors, and one fun fact about me is that when I was 12 years old, I could do 15 pull-ups.
Okay, Jovan Smith.
Hey everyone, my name is Jovan Smith. I'm the Data and Enrollment Specialist. I've been at UCR for 4 years and going into my second year now with honors. My fun fact is that I am the office DJ, so you will always hear music coming from my office.
Thank you, Jovan. Latoya.
Hi, my name is Latoya Ambrose. I'm the Senior University Honors Counselor, and I counsel students with last names A through E. A fun fact about me is I am a very big geek. Like, I love everything Harry Potter, video games, board games, all of it. If you come by my office, there's Harry Potter stickers and memorabilia all over it. So.
Okay, great. And then Myra.
Hello, everyone. My name is Myra Jones. I'm one of the University Honors Counselors, and I also handle marketing and media for the department. A fun fact about myself is that I've voluntarily thrown myself out of a plane a couple of times. I'm also like Disney obsessed. I go to Disneyland almost every weekend. So if you want to chat about anything entertainment, Disneyland, skydiving, I'd be more than happy to chat with you. I really enjoy talking to students and getting to know you. So come by the office and we could chat in the lounge.
Oh, and then really quick, Maria Rosa, who also isn't here today. She's also an honors counselor, and she oversees students with the last names Lynn through R. I think, Begonia, that goes to you. Oh, I think you're muted.
Thank you. I was distracted by my cat Squeaky,
No worries.
who loves to participate in all these meetings. Okay, our goal at University Honors is to promote scholarship, engagement, and student success. And you all know you're all very high achieving, motivated students. And our aim in our program is to enhance and maximize your experience at UCR, both in the classroom and out. As faculty director, I oversee programmatic aspects of university honors, such as the courses that you will be taking, including the English seminar, which we'll be talking about in a bit, and your capstone project. But I also oversee more fun things like our extracurricular activities, like field trips. So we already have 3 planned for the fall, and I'm happy to answer questions about those in the Q&A. So we have one field trip planned for the Bowers Museum to see the exhibit on terracotta soldiers. We are going to the Museum of Tolerance, which will include testimony from Holocaust survivor. And we also have and I will be leading those 2 trips. And we also have a faculty fellow who is taking students to a sound bath experience somewhere in nature, which sounds very interesting to me. And all of those are free to our students. But just as an FYI, they're all first come, first serve. And the way we let you know about these activities is through email. So it's really important to check your email. Next slide, please. So building on our overall goal, we have developed 3 pillars of excellence that guide our programs, opportunities, and learning experiences. We promote creativity and innovation through our courses and the faculty mentored research experience via your capstone, which can be based on research, creative activity, or experiential learning. So this pillar refers to the academic component of our program, which transitions university honor students into scholars. We cultivate a culture of contribution by encouraging students to contribute to the communities and the causes that they care about, whether that be in the campus or in their home, in the state level, the national level, or the global level. And the primary way that we do this is through a course that I teach to all second years in the fall quarter at HMPG 2W, Principles of Civic Engagement. And my focus has been in particular to encourage students to think about using the arts to promote civic engagement. We celebrate diversity and global citizenship through high impact educational experiences, not only through our coursework, but other experiences such as study abroad or academic internships, for which we have special scholarships that are available only to university honors students. And those are listed, if you don't know already, on our website, honors.ucr.edu. Next slide. The University Honors mission references our 3 pillars. So the University Honors engages a diverse group of students, which is you, faculty and staff, in the creation of global citizens through high impact experiences that emphasize original scholarship, contribution, creativity, and innovation. And you'll be hearing this a lot from us, but we have students from all majors across the whole school. So there are ways to be innovative, creative, and do research in any field that you can think of. Next slide. And before I cede the floor to Jovan, who will be giving you some details on the courses and other requirements, I'd like to congratulate you again on your admittance to University Honors. It was my pleasure to read all of your applications. You're welcome. There are only 270 of you, more or less, among the thousands of first-year students that are at UCR. So you're a very special group of students. And as you know, you all have very high GPAs, but we select students for more than just the high GPA. You were also chosen because you demonstrated a good fit with our mission, which we just went over, through your dedication to research, whether through scholarship or creative activity, through the leadership skills you have shown in high school or in your communities, for example, through volunteering or some other community organization. You've also demonstrated a good understanding of what University Honors entails, the programs, the resources, the benefits, the requirements, etc. We do want to make sure that you are going to be academically prepared to engage in our courses, so you do have to place into writing 7 or higher. And again, Jovan will be going over that. But a final word to all of you. So I also conducted an honors project when I was an undergraduate. It was really transformational for me, especially as a first generation student coming from a low income background and growing up speaking a language other than English. And my wish for you is that your experience in university honors, and in particular a capstone project and hopefully some high impact activities that you engage in, will also be equally transformative for you. And Jovan, I now give you the floor.
All right, thank you, William. Now I have a very specific part which covers kind of more technical details. So you all should have received the 3 documents that you see on your screen via email earlier this week. If you did not, please make sure you email honors@ucr.edu. One of them is the Ignition Seminars descriptions. The other is a listed of the Ignition Seminars courses you can sign up for. And then the third document was pretty much all the instructions for today's presentation, just in Word form. So if you did not receive any of these documents, please email honors@ucr.edu. All right. Okay, and so one very important topic that is important for all of you is to sign up for your first honors course. These courses for your first year, and for your first term in the fall is going to be your honors ignition seminar. These are going to be listed in the scheduled classes as HNPG 016, HNPG 017, or HNPG 018. All of those types of courses are ignition seminars. The HNPG 16 covers the humanities, the 17 covers social sciences, and 18 can cover either or. And these are part of your breadth requirements. We highly encourage you to consider taking ignition seminar that is not related to your major. And if you take a look at that description document of all the courses, you can dive in, learn a little bit about some of the faculty members there, and see exactly what those classes that they are teaching. Many of them, that is their specific research projects themselves, or specific areas of research. And so I would encourage you to review that document, start making a list. You only need to take one ignition seminar in the fall. Because there are a limited number of seats and there are many of you, please make sure you also have a backup plan. But you just need to take one ignition seminar in the fall. Then in the winter, you'll have a chance to take honors religious studies. It's going to be a cross-listed course. It's going to be either listed as RLST 012H, that's religious studies 12, or ETST, so ethnic studies. So that's one course. It's your honors religious studies course. You'll take that in the winter. And then in the spring, you'll take honors world history. This specific spring, the history department will be offering History 20H. It's their specific course. And so we'll have some more information for you for that. But for this quarter, the fall quarter coming up, you definitely want to make sure you sign up for your one ignition seminar. All right. Thank you. And then lastly, Dr. Echeverria discussed this for a moment. In order to be ready for the Principle of Civic Engagement course, you're going to take that in your second year. You have to be ready for Writing 20. So you have to complete that prior to the fall quarter of your second year. That class is only offered in the fall, so you have to make sure that you are ready for that. In order to do so, many of you probably have already taken your writing placement exams, and some of you may have already been placed in a writing class higher than Writing 7. And if so, then you're right on track with where you should be. If not, we will be communicating with you and how that might impact your admissions and honors. And so just make sure that you either have taken that or you're on track to have taken the writing placement exam so that you can score or be placed in the writing course higher than WRIT 7. Okay. And I think that does it for me.
Okay, thank you, Jovan. As you can see here, Jovan went over the courses that you are expected to enroll in this upcoming year, but there are some courses that you should not enroll in fall quarter. So when you enroll in your ignition seminar fall quarter, then you shouldn't register for some other courses. One being the Religious Studies and Ethnic Studies 12 requirement. You are required to take the honors version of those classes in winter quarter. So please do not register for Religious Studies or Ethnic Studies 12. As Jovan mentioned, you will be required to take History 20 honors. However, please do not register for History 10, 15, or 20 in fall or winter quarter, as those meet the same requirement. And then do not enroll in Writing 30 in fall, winter, or spring quarter, because you will be required to take HPG 2W fall quarter, which meets the same requirement during your second year. And so that will satisfy that Writing 30 requirement. Okay, and so for your learning communities, you guys are encouraged to join your learning community so you can take advantage of the early access to the learning community blocks, so you'll be able to register for your classes up front. However, if there is a conflict between your college's learning community block and a university honors course requirement, that can't be resolved by your college, so please reach out to your advisor first. But if they can't resolve it, then you will need to choose whether you should remain in University Honors or stay in your college's learning community. And then also for your math placement, you will need to finalize your math placement in order to ensure you're able to enroll in all of your classes. No math placement means that you can enroll in your admission seminar. So if you don't need the math placement, you could just go ahead and enroll in your admission seminar and your English class if you're depending on your placement in that, and then any applicable breadth requirements. So if you don't have your class placement yet, you can register for all those other classes, or if you don't need one for your major, you can also do the same. Students who don't have a math placement at the time of registration will be placed in the coursework that you're eligible for. And then once you have your math placement, then your college will work with you to adjust your schedule. And so say you have a major course conflict and you are unable to leave your learning community, depending on what the conflict is, you can petition. So you can petition for a major course conflict or a unit conflict. So say you have more than 20 units already just for your major courses, and adding that honors class will put you over the 20 unit maximum. Then you can petition to postpone that course requirement. Or if you have a potential transfer credit that meets the same requirement as the honors requirement, then you could talk to your honors counselor. And just to elaborate on this, your class requirements are your requirements. So in many cases, you are required to take them. There are very few chances we will allow a student to completely waive an honors course requirement. So there are stipulations with that. But if you're not sure, please reach out to your assigned honors counselor and we will let you know whether or not the transfer credit meets the exact same requirement. And as it says here, approval of petitions are not guaranteed. So simply submitting the petition form does not mean that it's automatically approved. You still need to receive an approval email from either me, either your honors counselor or the assistant director to indicate that your petition has been approved.
So prior to the beginning of fall quarter, you will receive an email with a link to a mandatory online honors orientation module and details about when it must be completed. The modules are going to provide you with additional information about university honors and the various requirements that we have. You're going to be notified in September with more information and given a timetable for when you need to complete that requirement by. So please keep an eye on your email for when you receive that information. There will be 2 opportunities for students to connect with University Honors over the summer. Students will have an opportunity to meet virtually with our faculty director, Dr. Echeverria, on a one-on-one setting. Students can get to know Dr. Echeverria, ask her questions on a variety of topics, share ideas on field trips, discuss initial thoughts on the capstone perhaps, and additional things like that. The virtual office hours are going to take place on Thursdays from 3 to 4 p.m., with the exception of Thursday, September 11th and Thursday, September 18th. There's no need to sign up for these virtual office hours. However, if multiple students do show up to the office hours, please be advised that you will be placed in a waiting room and Dr. Echeverria will see you in the order in which you arrived. The University Ambassador Co-Chiefs will be hosting a virtual meet and greet on Thursday, August 14th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. So this will be your second opportunity over the summer to engage with University Honors. We highly encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity to meet and chat with Honors Ambassadors, get to know them, ask them about their experiences as a student, the various experiences they have participated in. You could definitely pick their brain from the student perspective. So the links to join Dr. Echeverria's office hours and the co-chiefs meet and greet are hyperlinked on this slide, and you will be getting a copy of this presentation, a PDF copy of this presentation. Once this meeting has concluded, I will send you a copy of the recording, a link to the recording, and a copy of the presentation where you will be able to click on those links so that you can join if you so wish. So now that the important information has been shared with you and you know what to enroll in and not to enroll in during your advising and registration sessions, if you would like to ask us a question, please use the raise your hand feature and we will call on you. Those of you who do not feel comfortable asking your question live, feel free to type your question in the chat so that it may be addressed. It will be please limit your use of the chat feature in order to limit repetitive questions. If we don't have time to answer your question, or we run out of time, you can always email your questions to honors@ucr.edu and it'll be directed to the appropriate individual. Well, a couple of things. As a reminder, we cannot answer any questions related to your major requirements. Those should be directed to your academic advisor and not during the question and answer portion of this session. So when most of you meet with your academic advisors in your colleges on Monday or Tuesday, which are the priority advising and registration sessions, that is where those questions should be directed. Likewise, any questions related to writing or math placement should be directed to the University Writing Program for writing placement or the Academic Resource Center who oversees the math placement. Any questions not answered on the linked web pages on this slide may be directed to the email addresses that I provided on the slide. So if you can't find your answer on any of the information they provided on those web pages, you could definitely email uwp@ucr.edu or math.assessment@ucr.edu for those specific questions. Also, while University Honors offers students the opportunity to live in a living learning community, housing assignments are overseen by UCR Housing Services, not University Honors. So all the logistical stuff is overseen by Housing Services. So if you have any questions on anything related to cost, roommates, things like that, you will need to contact Housing Services with any questions related to that. As preparation for your upcoming virtual advising and registration session with your college, you should have already completed part 1 and 2 of your Lander Foundations course. So if you haven't done that, do it ASAP, or it could potentially delay your registration. If you've already completed it, I highly encourage you to go back and review the information so that it's fresh on your mind for when you have that advising and registration session on Monday or Tuesday. The course introduces you to many important topics that will be helpful to know prior to attending your virtual advising and registration session. So let's go ahead and get started with the questions.
Okay. And I open the chat, so if you need to.
Rocio?
Hi, so I saw in the presentation that you said that if we should not enroll in writing 30 if we're in honors. If we place into writing 30, what happens then?
If she, oh, I don't know if Myra heard your question. Oh, sorry. If you place into writing 30, then you just don't need to take a writing course until next fall when you take honors 2W.
And then the HMPG 2W will count for English, well, what we used to be English 1C. So
Yeah,
you'll
it's
eventually,
now writing 30.
yeah.
Okay, I'm back. All right.
And then Sophia has her hand raised.
Go ahead, Sophia.
In the chat, but I just want to know if it's required to have an English or writing class the first quarter of the fall to stay in honors.
Can you repeat the question?
No, it's not required to have an English class to stay in honors. You just have to be able to place into you just have to basically be able to take HMPG 2W by the time you start your second year fall quarter. So as long as you have that, that's fine, but you're not required to take an English class in your first year.
Okay, thank you.
Jane and Latoya, I'm having trouble seeing all of their faces, so if you could please call on the students who are raising their hand, that would be helpful.
Sure. I don't see any
We'll
other-
try. I'm answering questions in the chat too.
Oh, okay. Sophia Martin.
So I got an email regarding my AP score that it satisfied the entry-level writing requirement and I could be placed into writing 020. That would satisfy the 007 requirement for honors, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's actually the prerequisite you need to enroll in your civic engagement course in fall quarter of your second year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sarai Valencia.
My question was in regards to the creative portion that you guys suggested, how we should take a class that's not focused on our major or what we're studying for. When would be the best time that you guys would recommend doing that? Do you think during the fall during our first year or later on when we have more time?
Um, if you're referring to the ignition seminar is only offered in the fall, so you would have to take it in the fall quarter.
Okay.
Yeah. Brooke Swanson.
Brooke, we can't hear you.
Brooke, can you unmute yourself so we can hear you? Okay.
No?
Yes, can you just speak a little bit more loudly?
Yeah, I had a question about the writing. I took a English 1A with like college dual placement during my senior year, and I passed with like a C or higher. Would that qualify for higher than like the writing 7 or
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Don't see any more hands, but I think there's a question up from Sumit. When do we sign up for our ignition seminar?
In the fall quarter. So when you have your advising and registration session, for most of you, it'll be either this Monday or Tuesday. And you sign and you finalize your registration, that's when you would be adding your ignition seminar. And that would be either HMPG 16, HMPG 17, or HMPG 18, depending on which one you select.
Okay, I see hands now. Casey.
Hi, I was just wondering, so in regards to registration, do we register for fall, winter, and spring courses all at the same time, or do we do it
No, you would only be
every?
registering for fall courses. And
Oh,
then during fall quarter, registration would open up for winter quarter, and then during winter quarter, registration opens up for spring quarter.
thank you.
And just as a note, we were showing you winter and spring classes because we don't want you to take those classes in the fall because you eventually have to take them with us. Annabelle.
Sorry, I had a question about the winter class. Wait, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, my question was about the religious studies and ethnic studies. I know it's a little early, but could you like explain like which one it would be focused towards? Like, is it an ethnic studies class or like a religious studies class? Because I have some credit for ethnic studies, and I hope it wouldn't conflict with what we're gonna do there.
It's a cross-listed course, so it could count for either religious studies 12H or ethnic studies 12H. You and your academic advisor, based on the classes you've taken and what your major requirements are, would decide which one would be more appropriate and that you should take.
Sophia.
Hi, I had one more question kind of about our academic advisors. When we have our priority session, are they going to know the honors courses that we need to take, or will we kind of have to guide them like, hey, I'm told I need to take this whenever?
Yes, they will have the information, but as a student, you should always advocate for yourself. So if they're not already doing that, you should say like, as an honor student, I'm an honor student, I should be taking an ignition seminar. So always advocate for yourself and make sure that your needs are heard and met.
Okay. Anastasius.
So I have a question about the writing requirement. I took two English college classes, and I passed both of them with an A and a C. Will one of them fulfill the writing requirement?
It depends on which courses you took, but your academic advisor would know whether it will count and what it will place you into, and they will review that with you during your advising and registration session.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Evan.
So I've been taking the writing placement test. I'm supposed to take it in August on August 4th, but then if I choose classes on the 28th, how would I know which writing I'm supposed to do? Like, do I just
So
could I change later or no?
So for any of you who do not have your placement figured out yet, or you don't have the appropriate score submitted, if you go to registration and that isn't resolved, your college will place you into any courses that do not require those placements. And then once your scoring is resolved, they will help you out into getting into the remainder of the courses that you need that are based on that score. So let's say, for example, you don't have your math score, they'll put you in a breath course, an English course, and things like that. And then once your math score is resolved, they'll place you in the appropriate math. And then any course that requires math to be taken. If your writing placement hasn't been resolved yet, your academic advisor will place you in the appropriate courses that they're able to put you in. And then once that score is resolved, they'll help you finalize your registration at that time.
So do I have to like go back and change it myself, or do I like email the advisor and
They will
have?
tell you how to keep connected with them to resolve any student that's unable to finalize their registration at their advising and registration session. They will give you instructions on how to keep in contact with them so that once the score has been received and things like that, you guys can connect and finalize that registration.
Just a really quick announcement. I'm getting quite a few direct messages, and so I don't mind answering them. However, a lot of you are asking the same questions. So please just write it to everyone so you can see the answers and you will likely see the answer to the same questions. That makes sense? Please, thank you.
Okay, and then I'm just going to be reading from the chat the questions that haven't been answered yet that I can see. Audrey is asking, can we select any ignition seminar, or is there a certain type we have to enroll in for fall?
You can choose any ignition seminar you like, depending on space. So you might choose an ignition seminar and then find out that it's filled before you've been able to add it. That's why we ask that you have a first choice, second choice, third choice, in case that happens. Do keep in mind that depending on the numbering, they can count for different things. So HMPG 16 can count for a humanities breath. HMPG 17 can count for a social sciences breath, and HMPG 18 can count for humanities or social science breath. So if you're looking to meet that specific breath requirement, then you would choose one with that specific numbering.
Okay, Leah is asking, when is it appropriate to talk to our academic advisor versus honors advisor? Not sure if you all are advisors, but you mentioned that you're responsible for some part of the alphabet.
So you're going to talk to your academic advisor anytime you have questions related to your major and your major requirements. They'll also, be in charge of any applicable deadlines and things like that that have to do with your major. They advise on policies, procedures, dates and deadlines, breadth requirements, things like that, while honors counselors advise on everything related to university honors courses, policies, and deadlines. So that's the difference.
We can also talk to you about, personal, professional development as well and things like that. So general kind of development questions we can also answer. Okay, Amy's asking, I'm taking an English 1A course this summer. It will be finished on July 31st. After I finish and send the score to the school, I'll be able to choose the English course, right?
Correct.
Okay, Jorda, if we've taken a UCR equivalent to English 1B and can then place in English 1C, does that place us past RIT 007 and Writing 10, or are these courses separate from each other?
So if you've already met the English, did you say Writing 20?
He's taken the UCR equivalent of English 1B.
So that's Writing 20, yeah.
Yeah.
So as Latoya mentioned earlier, you shouldn't enroll in Writing 30, which would be the equivalent of English 1C, because you're taking HMPG 2W in fall quarter of your second year, and that can count for Writing 30. So if you can take a course that'll meet both requirements at once, you should just wait and take that one so it doesn't duplicate credit.
Yeah. And then to your question, does that place you past RIT 7 and 10? Yes, it does. Okay. I think Latoya's answered that question. Okay, Jada, is there a list of classes that we need to know we need to take when it comes time for the advising session?
Say again, Jade?
Is there a list of classes that we need to know we need to take when it comes time for the advising session?
Well, if you've been keeping up with your Highlander Foundations course, the various colleges provided information as to some of the courses that you should be enrolling in as a first-year student. But they're also going to be there to assist you during your advising and registration session. They won't be able to meet with you one-on-one, but they will be able to kind of help you out as you're navigating the registration. They'll provide you with additional information, and then after they've provided you with additional information and instructions on how to register, your time ticket will open up, and then you'll be able to register in the courses that you need.
Okay, and then Joy is asking, I've heard about increased research/lab opportunities through the honors program. May you guys elaborate more on these opportunities?
So by virtue of participating in university honors, you're going to be working on something called the capstone project, which is going to be, it could take a variety of forms, but let's say it's research. You will be working on research and you'll be reporting on that research for your capstone project, or perhaps a creative project, or perhaps an experiential project. So that's one way that you're going to become involved in faculty mentored research. A lot of professors also sometimes reach out to us, and because they want to work with high achieving students, they'll let us know about opportunities in their labs that we can advertise. You're going to have a lot more access to faculty through our program, whether it's through the field trips, guest speakers, things like that. And when you meet these faculty and get to know them, a lot of times you can like network your way into a lab or something like that. So these are some of the ways in which you might be exposed to research a little bit more than if you were not in university honors.
Okay, Alexandra, if we are not entering the learning community, are we able to select our own schedule, including honors courses, using the first selection at the advising session with our advisor?
Yes, if you're choosing not to accept your learning community, although for some colleges it's required, but if you're choosing not to accept your learning community, you will be able to enroll yourself in courses. It's just it might be a little bit more limited because a lot of those courses, a lot of the seats in those courses are reserved for learning community. So it might benefit you to join the learning community just to like get access to those learning community blocks that have those courses, key courses in your major, like science and math or things like that, so that you don't struggle finding a spot in one.
Okay. Okay, so before I continue here, I see Victo has raised their hand.
Hi, yes. So I'm confused about the second phase registration because when I registered, I set my time for 1 for Zoom, and then I got the email for check-in at 9. So am I gonna be in like a queue to meet with someone, or how does it work?
So from my understanding, advising and registration takes place over a block period of time. You begin by meeting with the college and the advisors, and they provide you with information and instructions. And then once that has concluded, then you go in to register. What the exact breakdown of those times is, I am not certain of because it varies slightly from college to college. But from what I understand, all of the colleges will be sending you information with exact instructions, Zoom links, at what time, what is happening, and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
if you haven't seen it already, I would check the Highlander Foundation's course announcements, check your email, check your spam. But from what I understand, they're sending that information at least 3 business days before your advising and registration session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, back to the chat. Tavin, do we still have priority registration even if, oops, sorry, there's somebody. Even if we have a later registration session, how does the priority work?
So technically, you don't really have priority registration in the fall because all of the second years, third years, and fourth years at UCR have already registered. The way that you have priority registration over the rest of the incoming students is because you're registering on the first or second day of advising and registration. So if you selected a date that was not Monday or Tuesday and it's after that, you're registering after all the students who registered on that first and second day. So the further out an advising and registration session is, the later you're registering. So it makes it less and less priority, if that makes sense.
Okay, Tony, is passing RIT 7 required in order to take HMPG 2W?
we need you to place into writing 7 or higher in order for you to be on track to meet the prerequisite for HMPG 2W. So by placing into writing 7 or higher, you will be on track to getting that prerequisite met before you have to take HMPG 2W.
Okay, Vivek is asking, is the academic advising session one-on-one or is it a group session?
It's group.
Okay. Adrian is asking, how many courses would you recommend we take during our fall quarter?
For, I mean,
Well, that that depends, right,
it
on a
depends,
number of
yeah.
factors. In general, I always recommend to first years 3 classes, right? This is a very general recommendation. You would need to talk to your major advisor, see what kind of credits have transferred, what makes sense for you to take in terms of number of units for you to progress appropriately towards graduation, right? So there's multiple factors involved. Generally it's 3 to 4, right, to maintain that part-time status. Sorry, the full-time status. But again, you really want to check with your major advisor.
You also got to keep in mind that courses have different units. So sometimes you're taking what seems like a lot of courses, but if they're only like 1 unit courses, it doesn't affect your overall unit load as much as you would think. So think of it more as the amount of units as opposed to the number of courses because they can be different unit amounts.
Okay, actually, Annabelle, I see her hand is raised.
Sorry, another question, going back to the field trips part. What month do we start the field trips? And when we go, are we getting like free food or is it like we have to bring our own food?
So we offer more than field trips. We actually send out a weekly, what's called an engagement email. And in that engagement email, we are going to advertise all of the stuff happening throughout the quarter. So you're going to get engagement emails weeks, 1 through 10 during fall, weeks 1 through 10 during winter, etc. That are going to be advertising everything that's going on with university honors, whether that's faculty field trips, whether it's like workshops on like time management or imposter syndrome, whether it's faculty speakers, things like that. Depending on the event, food may or may not be provided, but all of that information will be provided in the engagement email. So if you need to bring particular types of shoes, if you need to bring food or not, or if food is going to be provided, all of that will be part of the engagement email, so you'll know what to expect.
But the field trips specifically are scheduled weeks 2 to 8 every quarter. So, and we try to spread them out so they're not like, back to back. And we also, it depends on who is the faculty, if the faculty person that's going to be accompanying the students, because we have to have a chaperone, at least one chaperone. So it depends on the availability of the faculty person who is in charge of the event and also the hours and availability of the venue.
And it's usually more like social type events, like a Halloween social or like a Valentine social, perhaps something like the alumni, when the alumni come from homecoming and you're invited to kind of like join us in our space and meet alumni. Those events might have like light snacks or food provided. Field trips, you're usually on your own for those.
Rocio has her hand up.
Yeah, I had another question. So, do the seminars give us credits? Because right now, under my block, I don't have enough credits. I guess I think I tested out of some classes, so I only have 11 credits.
So the learning community block is not going to be all of the courses that you're going to be enrolled in for fall. It's only partial. When you go to your advising and registration session, that's when you're going to finalize your schedule. So you're going to add more classes that are not in the learning community block. So like you're going to add like your ignition seminar, perhaps a breath, English, things like that.
If I can address this publicly, because I know this is being recorded and there may be other students with this question, and I completely understand why some students are asking this directly instead of in front of everyone. But if you aren't placed into writing 7, at least, and sometimes students think like, oh, I'm placed in writing 10, that means like I'm not in writing 7. Writing 10 and 20 are above 7. So if you're placed in either of those, you're still fine. You'll be able to stay in honors. If you're placed in something less than writing 7, you will be discontinued from university honors, but you can apply later if you're able to meet that writing 20 requirement prior to fall of your second year, or if you're able to complete the writing requirement, meaning writing 30 by your second year, you could apply to honors for your third year. So I just want to address that publicly because I understand why some students wouldn't want to ask me that in front of everybody. So
Great. Thank you, Latoya. Fatima, you have your hand up.
Yes, so I saw this question in the chat as well, and I also wanted to ask. So I heard from other sources that we needed to receive this sort of like registration like time ticket or something in order to like place our classes and do the registering process or whatever. But I was confused on how I can check that registration time specifically, and especially with the advising session that's coming up, like, would I
Your
still
time
need a ticket for that?
Your time ticket will actually not open up until you're in your advising and registration session. And that's
Okay.
done very purposefully so that you receive their advising and instructions before enrolling yourself. So that was done very purposefully. So it will open sometime during your advising and registration session. Again, the colleges are handling that time block a bit different between themselves. So they will provide you a more detailed agenda of when they will be covering specific parts during that advising and registration session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so back to the chat, although this is kind of related. So Madison's asking, how does she check her personal registration time?
The colleges will be providing her that information.
Yeah, it's the emailing. Okay. Isabella, my CNS learning community gave me a block with 15 units, so I can't sign up for my ignition seminar on first pass. Am I able to drop the LC, or is it recommended we stay
No,
with
no.
the LC and I sign up?
When you're in your advising and registration session, identify yourself as an honors student, and they should be able to help you to give you a unit extension that would allow you to add your ignition seminar.
Okay, Audrey is asking, if we place into RIT 30, then does that mean we shouldn't take a writing class during the fall?
Correct. Because when they take HMPG 2W in the fall, that'll count for writing 30 of their second year.
Okay, Raya is asking, if the first time that I took the math placement exam, I placed into a lower math, and the second time, but my second exam score hasn't been updated in my portal yet, and I can't register for the right LC block, what should I do since the LC registration is closing today?
So if your second test, if you end up scoring higher in your second test, at that time, you can reach out to your academic advisor and they would help you make any adjustments based on your higher score.
Okay. Leah's asking, can you clarify, are English 1A, B, and C equivalent cross-listed for a RIT course? A few questions ago, I think it was mentioned someone who passed English 1B would have qualified above RIT 7.
I can see why this would be a little bit confusing. Last year, all of the English, there was courses that were renamed. So what used to be known as English 1A is now writing 10. What used to be known as English 1B is now writing 20. What used to be known as English 1C is now writing 30. The way the English courses were numbered before, there was higher Englishes that were marked as a lower number than lower Englishes. So that was really confusing for students. So that that prompted the university to change the subject heading and numbers so that it would be a little bit more understandable, and that it would follow like a numbering sequence that made sense. So again, what used to be known as English 1A is actually writing 10 now. What used to be known as English 1B is actually writing 20 now. And what used to be known as English 1C is actually writing 30.
Okay, and then Leah, underneath your question, I'm putting a link which everyone can also see, and that's to the University Writing Program, where it shows kind of the all of the RIT courses and what they used to be known as. So you guys can see kind of a map of visual. Because even for me, I've been working here for 14 years, and they switched everything. I'm like, which one's 1A equals which RIT 40? So it's very confusing. So a visual has been placed under Leah's question. But I'll also place it kind of at the bottom here of the chat so you guys can all see that. Okay, hold on a second. It moved me all the way up, so I got to move up here. All right. Kiana, if my degree audit isn't updated to show all the English credits I've fulfilled through AP testing, will I be unable to register for the right classes?
Your academic advisor will be able to let you know.
Okay, Caitlin, if I got placed into RIT 20, do I enroll in that class for this upcoming fall quarter?
Yes, you can enroll in writing 20 because that's the prerequisite to HMPG 2W. 2W counts for writing 30, so as long as you don't take writing 30, you should be fine.
Yeah, but you don't have to enroll
You
in it
don't
this
have to, but
fall.
if you want to and that's where your advisor is recommending, then you can.
Yeah, so just as long as you complete that prior to the fall of your second quarter, I mean second year, that should be fine. Okay, if I got Karishma, if I got a higher score on my AP test for math, which would place me in a higher math than what I was placed in due to my placement exam, will that be situated during my advising session?
As long as the university has your new score, you can let your advisor know and they can help you out.
Okay, Aisha is asking, my LC doesn't have some of the classes I need for my major. Am I able to switch to a different LC or add the class myself?
So your LC is not going to put you into all of your courses. It's just going to put you into some key courses. So for example, if you're in CNAS, it'll place you into a math and a science, for example. So when you register during your advising and registration session, you'll be able to like finalize your schedule and add any other courses that you might need, whether it's breath or English or, your ignition seminar.
Joy is asking, do many honor students end up getting into professional schools like med school or internships? Does the program offer help with this process in any way? Just to save Myra some breath because she's been answering so many questions. Yes, absolutely. A great portion of our honor students do end up in professional or med school or internships and things like that. We absolutely do help with professional development, application help. There are also a lot of on-campus resources that will help you with that. So we work in collaboration with those resources. But certainly if you need kind of a sounding board or someone to talk through on a game plan or how to apply to certain things, we do help you with that. Okay. So that one was answered by Latoya. Okay, Jada, what if I don't have an email that tells me my advising session time?
So if you haven't received it yet, you should be receiving it either today or tomorrow. You should look to your Highlander Foundations course. There is contact information in case students have questions, so you could reach out and let them know that you haven't received the information that you need.
Jada's asking, if I switch majors, will that change my status in my LC?
From what I understand, there's a time limit for the change of majors. At a certain point, you're not able to do it during the advising and registration session. So it potentially could affect you and the timing of when it happens. Your academic advisor would know more because each college kind of handled those in a particular set of ways.
Okay, and then Leia's asking, you mentioned a bit about studying abroad during the presentation. Is it different for honor students? And off the top of your head, do you know if there will be any information sessions about it?
Study Abroad does offer information sessions throughout the school year. They table and do a variety of things where you can go and learn more. They have offices you can visit. They have what I believe they call goalies, so it's like peers who have participated in study abroad and can talk to you as well. So there's a wealth of information and staff and students that can talk to you about it. Honors always encourages students to practice a culture of diversity and global citizenship and things like that. So we are going to encourage you to participate in opportunities like study abroad. We actually have a scholarship in support of study abroad. It's not going to pay for your entire experience, but it'll help you out a little bit. We do ask that if you're going to participate in something like study abroad, that you do let us know. Depending on what quarter you're going, it can affect you differently and may require petition processes and things like that. So if you do have plans to study abroad, reach out to your honors counselor, let us know which quarter you're planning on going so we can let you know how it will affect you, what steps you need to take in order for you to be able to participate in that opportunity.
And then also you can use your study abroad for a capstone project as well, which is pretty cool. So
Yes, I want to add two things. So yes, that's true. But for if you would like, which I encourage, we all encourage, if you want to ramp up your study abroad experience into a capstone, you need to get permission from me first, so that I can help you identify a research question or a larger issue that you want to explore through your experience. So you're not coming back afterwards and kind of, reflecting back on when I was in Italy. Also, our scholarship that we have for honor students, for those of you who want to study overseas, is named after Kathleen Harris. And I had a coffee with her today, actually. And she actually let me know of some additional scholarship opportunities that I will be sharing with our students for people going studying overseas.
And Miranda, you have your hand up.
Yes, so I had a question about when we had to register for classes. How do I know if I'm picking the correct ones, or like how do I know which ones I'm exactly like supposed to pick?
So it's going to be a combination of things. One, you're going to have the Highlander Foundations course, which is going to provide you with some information. During your advising and registration session, you're going to receive advising and instructions from your college and your academic advisors from that college, depending on your major, telling you what courses you should be enrolling in. As well as you attending this session where we're telling you for honors that you need to enroll in an ignition seminar and what courses not to enroll in because you're going to be taking them in future quarters, that kind of thing. So it's going to be a combination of both.
Oh, okay, thank you. Because I just wanted to like double check how I'm supposed to know those things and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sophia.
So I've heard with the honors program, you get additional opportunities for scholarships. How exactly will we be notified about those extra scholarships? Just like through email or some other avenue?
Yes, you'll be notified via email. We also have a listing of all of our scholarships on our website. If you go to honors.ucr.edu and you click on benefits and expand the scholarships one, it'll show you all the scholarships we offer, when the deadlines are, if they're currently open, what you need to qualify, all that kind of stuff. But I also regularly, you're going to be receiving what's called a weekly counseling email that is going to have like information on what courses you should be in, upcoming requirements, opportunities. But I also regularly highlight our scholarships. I let you know when they open up, when the deadline's coming up, etc. So if you pay attention to the weekly counseling email, that's a way for you to stay updated on what's coming up, when applications are opening up, when they're going to close, etc. In addition to highlighting our scholarships, I also highlight outside scholarships and other opportunities as well. So a lot of really cool information on that weekly counseling email, but you're not going to benefit from those opportunities unless you read your email. So please read your email.
And then Latoya put in the link for the scholarships in the chat for those of you who would like to see that.
And they're updated every quarter, so make sure you check it every quarter.
Evan's asking, is there a specific ignition seminar we enroll in, or do we just choose one of the three?
There's actually a total of, Joanne, how many was it?
16.
16 ignition seminars being offered this fall. So in order to meet your honors requirement, any of those will count. But if you're looking to meet a specific breadth requirement, whether it be humanities or social science, you need to go with a specific number depending on what you're trying to meet. And then again, keep in mind that because these are small courses with only about 15 to 18 students in each of them, they may fill up. So you might want to have a plan B and plan C, a backup. Yeah.
Krishma is, when do we enroll in the ignition seminar? And that's going to be during your advising and registration session. Peter's asking, when is the honors office open? Generally Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Generally, yeah. Are you okay? That was answered. Evan, to your question, is there a list of all 16 along with description? You should have received an email from Myra with a list of those ignition seminars and their descriptions in your email. If you didn't, please email Myra to receive that.
Yeah.
And her email is myra.jones@ucr.edu. Okay, Madison it was mentioned earlier that we needed to complete an online orientation module. Is this separate from the Highlander Foundation? Yes, it is separate. You will receive an email with instructions on how to complete that. And that's going to be sent to you in September, so you don't need to worry about that right now. Miranda, your hand is up.
Yes, I had another question about when we registered for classes. Once we're done picking our classes and everything, do they like double check them to make sure we did it correctly, or is it just we're gonna see how it goes?
Yeah, they're there to like guide you, but if you're unsure of anything, I say whenever you're unsure, ask and they can help
Okay.
you out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we've answered all the questions in the chat, unless you've put a question in the chat and it wasn't answered by one of staff or I didn't read it out loud. You can re-put it in the chat so it kind of shows up in the queue, but I think we answered all of them. Or is there any,
Just
oh, there's a
another,
question in the chat.
sorry, just another frequently asked thing. Sorry, because I'm getting a lot of direct messages about this. Can I take a writing course at a community college? And the answer is no.
No, you cannot.
The colleges are very strict on that. I've seen students take it and not count for anything. So do not do that unless your college associate dean says you can, which they rarely approve. So please do not take writing courses or English courses at your community college, hoping you could transfer them into UCR. They don't accept them. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah. Jada had a question in the chat. This might have already been answered, but how do we know who our academic advisor is?
If it hasn't been placed in the Highlander Foundation's course already, they'll likely let you know during the advising and registration session. But you can also explore the web pages for your colleges, and usually they have information there. Once you're a student at UCR, how to set appointments with your academic advisor and who's assigned to who.
Joy is asking, when do we typically start working on the capstone project? Is it okay to do something medically or scientifically focused? So typically students start working on their capstone project at the beginning of their third year. You're certainly welcome to start on it earlier than that, but that's typically when students start. And hold on a second. Oh, medically and scientifically focused. Absolutely. We do take all kinds of capstones. It could either be creative, experiential, or your typical research. It doesn't have to be something that's in your major. If you want more kind of nitty-gritty details about the capstone, we do have a capstone website on our honors page, if someone can put that in the chat. And you can see actually examples of past capstones, so you can see what students have done. We also have a handbook on there that goes over all of the details of what's entailed. But typically, again, fall quarter of your third year, but you are welcome to start earlier. If you do want to start earlier, I really would recommend that you meet with your designated honors counselor so they can connect with you on what that might look like.
Also, just to reiterate that your capstone project can be anything that's interesting to you, anything that's interesting to you, so long as you have a faculty mentor who can supervise it. So it doesn't have, it can be in your major, doesn't have to be, but it could be something you just want to try out. So for those of you, I know some of you have gone to the sessions that Giovanna and I have held, so you look familiar. So you've heard this already, but we had an example this year of somebody who was in poli-sci, who worked with a chemistry professor to write a novel. Right? So as long as you have support, and again, you need to start no later than the beginning of winter quarter of your junior year. As long as you have a faculty mentor who's signed on to supervise, to mentor you on this topic, it can be really anything that's of interest to you. So I do encourage you to explore that, because your other option is to, pay for it later, right? So let's say you want to do some writing or some art, and you don't do it now with the faculty that we have now. That's included with tuition. Then you still want to pursue it after your graduation. Then you'd have to find a writing class and pay for it, pay for that. So it could be anything that's of interest to you, so long as you have faculty support.
Amy is asking, is the English course I took this summer transferable? And she took it at a community college. Latoya, do you want to answer that?
I was just responding to it. So I would say I've been here almost 15 years. I've only seen that get approved once. So I'm just saying, and it was under extenuating circumstances, the colleges, because the way the community colleges are set up, they're usually in semester system. It doesn't translate directly to the quarter system here. So especially with English or writing courses, they don't allow those to meet those writing requirements. They want students to take the writing courses here at UCR. So if you're taking a community college course, like an English class or a writing class, it's likely not going to transfer over, but you can always double check with your academic advisor. But from what I've seen, usually the colleges don't accept them.
Leah was asking, I understand that we shouldn't message our academic advisors yet. Is it the same for you guys, basically? No, you can message us now that we've had this session and you guys kind of have all the registration information. So you can go ahead and email your designated honors counselor. I see Sachiko's hand is up.
This is to go back to the last question. Is it possible to take community colleges while I'm at UCR? I'm like trying to finish college a little early, and I wonder if I can kick out some of those breadth requirements. Would that be possible, or is that a no-go?
It is possible, but you need to meet with your academic advisor one-on-one. You probably won't be able to do that now to go over exactly which classes you're taking and whether or not they count. Because there are certain classes they will take and some they won't. So before you enroll in any class at a community college, always double check with your academic advisor to make sure it articulates to whatever the class equivalent is here at UCR. Even if like assist.org tells you it counts, it may not. So always double check with your
All right,
advisor.
that was my next question.
Yes.
Okay.
I know
Thank you.
students do that and it doesn't,
Yeah.
that doesn't always translate for some classes. So always double check with your advisor.
Also, if
Okay,
you're
thank
planning, if
you.
you are in fact planning to graduate early, you should also meet with your honors counselor because that could change up your requirements depending on how early you're planning to graduate.
Yes, great point. Okay, Rocio, your hands up.
Yeah, so you said the writing requirements a lot of the time don't transfer from community college. What if you took dual enrollment classes in math? Would that credit transfer?
It might, I don't, so someone else asked me for another class. So I don't want to get too deep in what something an advisor should say. And a lot of this depends on your major. So if you're like, say you're in CHAS, they may count a math class from maybe community college. But if you're a math major, they probably won't. So it really depends on your major. So always double check with them before you take community college classes. If you've already taken community college classes, then you will need to make sure after those classes transfer that you check with your advisors to see which count and which don't, because some of them may not count. So if you've already taken a lot of community colleges classes, then that's fine. It's just double check to see which classes count, because you may have to retake some classes depending on your major.
So is this something we would go over with our advisor during the session that's coming up?
Possibly since it's a group, they may not be able to get too deeply into it. It depending on, like, say you said you did dual enrollment. So if you have like a lot of classes, they may not be able to like go too deeply in it. But after you register, you can make a one-on-one appointment with them.
Okay, Adrian's asking, does or can the capstone project assist you in gaining jobs after graduation? Absolutely. So the capstone project is typically a 2-year long process. You are gaining a tremendous amount of skills through that. You're working one-on-one with a faculty mentor. You're delving deeply into a topic outside of the classroom. Really doing a lot of critical thinking, problem solving, communication with graduate students and faculty. So to have that on your application for a job is really, really helpful to apply. I didn't know if anybody else wanted to kind of add to that.
You also have an opportunity to practice giving an oral presentation of your research and give peer feedback on other people's research, and that's also a very valuable skill that employers, in addition to graduate schools and professional schools, really value. The other thing that I would say is it's very helpful when you are applying for jobs or going to graduate school in terms of letters of recommendation, because it gives your faculty mentor something very specific and academic to speak to. And having read hundreds, if not thousands, of applications at this point for graduate school and for jobs and things, specificity is really key in making someone stand out from someone else. So if you compare two people who both have similar GPAs, let's say they both have A's or A minuses, and one has done a capstone and one has not, the one who has done a capstone has an advantage because the mentor and certainly the mentor and maybe others can speak to that research, the critical thinking of that student, whereas the one who didn't have a capstone doesn't have that material that for people to speak to. So it is really, really helpful for both getting jobs and for graduate school and professional school.
Thank you, Begonia. I knew she would have something to add. Okay, Iwi is asking, do we have housing in Pentland Hills for honors through all 4 years?
Oh, I just answered
Oh,
it.
you just answered that.
Sorry.
Okay. So basically, LaToya is saying Pentland for your first year. There is an honors hall in Glenmore for second and up, but it is optional. Okay, Claudia's asking, do you have to do the capstone project or is it just recommended? Yes, you do have to do the capstone project. It's actually also embedded with the required courses that you need to take with us starting in your 3rd year. So those are all capstone-centered courses as we support you through that process. Lauren, if we want to study abroad, what year time would be the best, taking into account the work needed to complete for the capstone project? I generally recommend that students study abroad when there isn't an honors requirement. So for example, in your 2nd year after fall quarter, summers are great. It's a little bit more difficult to go study abroad while like in your 3rd year, for example, for honors, because that's really where you're starting the capstone project and there are required honors courses in each of those quarters. Now, not to say it's impossible, but it probably will be a lot more challenging if you do it around that time. So
For your 3rd
recommendation.
year, in particular, winter quarter, which is an in-person course, would be the quarter that I would not recommend during winter.
Yeah, I mean 3rd year in general,
Yeah,
winter
but
quarter
more
specifically.
specifically winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yes, but also building on what Jane and Myra have said, I mean, there are programs that are as short as 3 weeks over the summer. And so almost anybody can usually do that. And there's also programs that are longer for either a quarter or a semester, depending on the host institution. And we do provide scholarships for all of those. So just so you know, but the sooner that when you have an inkling that you want to study overseas, please let one of us know, including me, so that we can help you make sure that you're taking the requirements that you need to take. But also, if you're doing a longer experience, so one that's not just a short 3-week program, if there's any chance that you are interested in ramping that up into your capstone, you have to get permission from me first, so I can help you develop a research question again that you can ask of your experience. And so when you come back, you're kind of ready to go.
So generally, I would recommend summers in general. Sophia, your hand is up.
Hi again. So how would we find out who our honors counselors are? And if we want to get a supervisor to start our capstone project earlier than our 3rd year, how would we go about doing that?
Well, I mean, on the slides and also on the website, so your counselors are by last name. And so LaToya is A through D. I'm F through Lim. I don't know if you want to bring up the slide, Myra, but it's on the slide, it's on the website as well with all of our last names. So it's just by last name essentially. And you can email us. If you want to get started on your capstone now, it is very early to get started on your capstone, but you can reach out to us and we can have a conversation about that. And we can tell you how to kind of get started. Usually because in your first year, you're taking, kind of introductory courses and things like that. We usually want to wait until you've taken some upper divs for you to really start delving deeply into a topic to approach a capstone. But if you want to have that conversation, the honors counselors are certainly happy to have that with you.
One thing I would also recommend is to keep notes on the professors that you like. So you might, for example, in your ignition seminar, that's an opportunity to have a really focused experience with a faculty member. And if you like the topic, if you like the professor, then when it's time for you to sign up with a faculty mentor, you can keep that in mind and save your work so that they can remember you, because a lot of our faculty members have taught for a long time, and it's hard to keep track of people sometimes. So I would recommend that you keep copies or scan copies of your graded work for your classes, so that when you are asking for somebody to either write your letter of recommendation or to consider you to work with you as a faculty mentor, that you have something to show me. So, I took your class 2 years ago. It was on blah, blah, blah. I got an A. This is what this is some copies of my work. So you can start early. You don't have to start early, just so you don't feel pressure, right? You can. I mean, it's great if you're already thinking about it, but you don't have to have anything settled until the end of your fall quarter of your 3rd year.
Also, I'm only slightly joking, but the person who said they want to start now, I expect 2 capstones from them.
We have this recorded. Oh, thank you, Myra, for bringing that up. So you can see the last names there, but I'll also put in the chat. This has all of the staff for honors and then the caseloads for each of the counselors. So Sophia, yours would be Maria.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And I don't have a caseload per se, but I pretty much live in the honors office. So the same suite where you're taking your ignition seminar is a seminar room that's in the middle. Some of you may have visited when you came on a tour. And my office is right. I mean, all of our offices are around it. So unless I'm in class, my door or I'm in a meeting, I leave the door open. So you can also just pop in if you're unable to go to my office hours. So, but since we're talking about office hours, you know when they are for the summer. During the school year, my office hours in person in my office are Thursdays 3 to 4, Mondays 1:30 to 2:30, and then I have virtual office hours on Fridays. So you'll get this information again. But again, if my door is open and you happen to be by, you might be able to ask questions or chit chat with me whenever you're in the suite.
Okay, Aiden's asking if we haven't taken the writing test yet, will we be kicked out of the honors program or do we have a date that we need to get our scores back to you guys?
I mean, you have like the rest of the summer to get your writing placement resolved. The only way you would have your admission rescinded to honors is if you don't place into that writing 7 or higher. But your college will work with you and make sure that you place into something. The only way, again, you would get kicked or you have your admission rescinded from honors if you don't place into at least writing 7 or something higher.
Okay, Caitlin's asking, is there guaranteed housing for honor students all 4 years?
It's not guaranteed. If you're living in the dorms during your first year, you are required to live in the honors living learning community. However, for the second, third, and fourth, although there is honors housing at Glenmore, it's less spaces. So students who are living in the honors living learning community will have first dib at those spots, but it's not guaranteed.
Okay, Cody is asking, what exactly is the time ticket for the registration and advising session? At this point, I only have the main advising session itself on my calendar. There was only one time block available for that portion, 9 to 12:30.
Again, the colleges have variations on that. Only they can provide the specific information. I would encourage you to reach out to their contact information. So if you still have some confusion, they can provide you with more information.
Okay. Kai's asking, do other LLCs also have halls in Glenmore? And if so, can I live in one of those during my second year while remaining an honor student?
Latoya, can you answer that?
Wait, what was the question? I'm sorry. The first I was typing.
Oh yeah, no worries. Do other LLCs also have halls in Glenmore? And if so, can I live in one of those during my second year while remaining an honor student?
Oh, I'm not sure. The only one I know of for sure that goes beyond the first year is the Stonewall Hall, which is for the LGBTQ community. I'm not sure outside of that if there's more LLCs beyond the first year. But the answer is yes, because your second year and above is optional to live in the honors hall. So if there is another LLC you want to live in, or even another hall with someone that's not in honors you want to live in your second year, you're more than welcome to do that since it's not required for second years and above to live in the honors hall.
And the last slide of this presentation has the link for the housing website, so you'll be able to find out more information there. And then if you scroll to the bottom of the page, the contact information for them is there if you wanted to reach out and ask your question.
All right. I think we've answered all the chat questions. Any other questions for the chat, or you want to raise your hand?
I'm answering them as fast as I can, guys. I'm fighting for my life in the chat box, so bear with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have read through the ones that are addressed to everyone in the chat.
No, it's direct messages.
Oh, okay. Just trying to save you from going back and answering those.
Thank you, though.
Evan, how do I know if I qualify for my statement of legal residency for housing?
That I don't know.
You would need to ask housing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks like we're giving Latoya time to answer.
Yeah. I think I answered the last one. I think we're good. I apologize if I missed anybody because there was a lot of them. But you can always email us at honors at UCR. Like if you're not sure who your counselor is, you can always email honors at UCR.edu and we'll forward it to the appropriate counselor. Or if you know who your counselor is, you can email us directly too.
Yeah, and I put in the chat there whose counselor everybody is. It's that link right there at the bottom. Okay, Annabelle, you had a question?
Sorry, I was waiting for like the serious questions to like be done. But one more question was like for all of the honor staff, because earlier you guys mentioned like DJing and like music. So I was curious like what type of music do you all listen to? Just real quick.
I'm 90s R&B hip hop, you know, and early 2000s. I think after that, hip hop wasn't that great. So that's what I like personally.
I'm a R&B girly too, so I listen to a lot of R&B, lo-fi. Interesting enough, I do listen to Taylor Swift. I get judged so hard for it, but I do like Taylor Swift. I'm proud to say it. I'm not a Swiftie though, because I don't go to all her concerts, but
I'm an 80s girl, and of course the Beatles. I know Myra's also a big Beatles fan, so Tracy Chapman is one of my favorites. So when I'm feeling low, I play my Tracy Chapman, and she gives me courage. But Giovanna, where's our DJ? Is he still here?
Siobhan is the music person.
Look, I just set the vibe, but I am a bit of a hip hop historian. But I do like a lot of 80s, 90s, uh, Uptown Funk style type of stuff. But yeah. But Team Kendrick though. No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I I would say that of everyone in the office, I probably have the most varied taste. For me, it's more about what kind of mood I'm in. There's particular music that I like to listen to when I'm cleaning. There's particular music I like to listen to when I'm depressed. Like, so, but I listen to everything like, 80s, 90s, current music, oldies, like from the 40s and 50s. I listen to hip hop, rap, to like pop, to like rock, alternative. I listen to everything. It just depends on my mood and the kind of music that is going to improve my mood during that particular time.
And also Beyonce cures depression, Myra. Just letting you know.
Well, when I'm severely depressed, I usually listen to Christmas music.
People are playing that Mariah Carey song already. It's already on ice.
Oh my God.
Christmas joy. It looks like Sarah had a question. Sarah Valencia, did you have a last question for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm something really quick. You guys said that we do need to take the ignition seminar and or the class, and we can find that in the forms that you guys sent to us via email. I had a question. You said that we could find the other courses that we need to take in the Highlander coursing that we were given. We can
The
find the
Highlander
information based
Foundations
on the
course,
majors.
the colleges are posting all their announcements to the Highlander Foundations course, and then they went through a number of modules that kind of like told you what learning communities are, what kind of courses are put into the learning community blocks and things like that. So you're going to find a wealth of information if you've gone through all those modules. And then depending on your major, they'll sometimes have like templates of like in your first year you should take this or that, and it'll help you kind of like build that schedule. But that's all information that's provided to you by your college/academic advisors.
Okay, thank you. And those would be the only ways that we could find the courses that we would be suggested to take or the stuff that we need
I
to take, or
mean,
is there
some of
other?
that stuff is readily available now, just in general on their website, because, our current students, first year, second year, third years, register every quarter as well. So that information, you might be able to find it there as well. And if you go to our website, honors at ucr.edu, at the footer, we actually linked to all the various college undergraduate offices that have all that information. So you could start there if you don't know how to find it on your own.
Okay, thank you.
So if there are no more questions, let me just reiterate that we're really glad you're here. We're really looking forward to working with you, meeting you in person if we haven't done so already. Great questions. Just know that any question that you have, 99.9% sure that someone has asked it before or somebody also has it and just hasn't verbalized it. So please do ask us so that you have the information that you need. We chose you because we think you're going to be successful. We're really hoping that you find the experience really transformative, and that you find a capstone that's really just a delight to you. And so we're here to help you. And once you have a chance to meet each other, you can also help each other. And I would also encourage you to reach out to honor students who are, who are second years, third years, fourth years. And some of the ways that you do that are not only in the dorms, but by the activities we have in the honor suite, and the field trips and the speakers that we sometimes bring. So congratulations again, welcome again, and we are looking forward to accompanying you on your honors journey.
Definitely have a productive and successful advising and registration session. And we all look forward to seeing you in September.
Yeah.
Thank you.